Okay, so in the previous lesson, we did the rough line work for this character right here. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and begin refining this line work. So I've already gone ahead and copied our adjustment layer here and down and applied it to that, or clipped it to our rough layer. So we'll be working on our refined layer. Let's come up here and select, again, either one of our brushes. I'll just select paint here. We'll come in and make a couple of changes, turning off the transfer here. And actually, we're going to come up here to brush tip shape, and we're going to pinch that in just a little bit and rotate that, just so we're consistent with our line work. So we'll come in here and also reduce the size of that down to about 4 pixels, I believe is what we were working at. And we'll go ahead and get started. Now, just like with the previous characters, we're just going to work with the rough line work here, working to create nice, clean, confident lines with our line work. So keeping that in mind as we proceed here. Let's go ahead and turn the opacity on our rough layer down just a little bit. That'll work. Alright, so coming up here and again working on his collar for his jacket and just kind of going with the style of this character. I know it's a soft fabric, but I'm kind of thinking that, you know, maybe for this collar we give it a little more of a stylized look here. So we'll come in with a few more boxy corners instead of smooth, soft corners. Kind of playing up the manliness in the character, if you will. And we're coming in here, kind of hitting some of these lines for the folds on the inside of that collar here. And don't be afraid to just come in here and add several lines if you need to create sort of a texture in doing this line work. A lot of times it's real easy to get into the habit of just doing a simple outline, but you know, you can add detail at this point as well. In addition to really flushing out the details that are already there in that rough line work, we can actually come in and add details at this level. So coming in here and just kind of, again, going for that nice, clean, crisp line. And we'll come in here and hit some of these nice curves in this jacket. He's got this nice poofy jacket on, so it's going to have these dimples in it. So we'll just kind of come down around that edge right there. And you can see I'm really just kind of working my way around the jacket. I'm working my way around the entire character, really. I'm not really focusing on one area. I'm just kind of grabbing areas and running with them. I don't want to get into establishing some kind of a pattern here as far as this goes. Kind of come in here and give him the neck of his shirt, giving that a little bit of that dimpled pattern as well, just so that we have sort of that nice repeating element. Our character is in of himself is really pretty chiseled, so having this dimpled pattern is really going to kind of offset that just a little bit. So you know, let's come over here and work on the other side of his jacket just a little bit. All right. Kind of hitting this area where there's this fold. It's actually, you know, I've been calling it a jacket, and I've drawn it more as a vest. So that's okay. We can kind of address that right now. Just in doing this sleeve right here, this around his shoulder where it's protruding from the vest. So coming in here, just kind of hitting some of these dimpled areas. You know, I don't even need to complete these lines. These lines that separate these segments in his jacket. We could actually just come in here and kind of imply at them. You know, and when we get to color, depending on the method we use for color, we could actually use that color to complete this line, just in subtle changes in the color, in the hue. So we'll come in here and just kind of imply at some of these lines. And let's go ahead and hit this little edge right here. Just like so. We've missed a few of these little indentations on this side of the jacket. That's all right. All right, so let's go ahead and bounce back up to his head. We've done pretty much his entire jacket here. Go ahead and hit at that little arm that's sticking out there. Let's go ahead and refocus our attention on his head. And, you know, as I'm looking at his head here, there's a couple things that are standing out to me. The sunglasses we've drawn aren't exactly aligned correctly on his face. So I'm going to bring that line a little bit further over here and then define that corner just a little bit more here. And we'll just kind of start with the sunglasses here. It's a nice detail. And we're going to erase this line. Alright, so let's go ahead and focus on his face. Making sure we get the lines in exactly the right place. Give him that nice big lip there that's kind of protruding. It's got kind of a, I don't know, kind of a scowl or something like that on his face. Alright, so we'll come up here to the peak of his head. Kind of accentuate that square, triangular shape at the top here. And working our way over to his headphones. Alright, looking pretty good so far. And bringing that shape in and around. Notice I'm making these lines with one continuous line, trying to get them as smooth as possible. And again, you know, when you're making a curve at this stage, it's going to be easier to try and do that curve in as few strokes as possible, because you're not going to have to worry about those strokes matching up or looking sketchy in any way. Alright, so coming down here now and working on his neck just a little bit. Let's zoom out a little here and take a look. May work on those sunglasses just a little bit more. They're still looking just a little awkward. That's alright. Still working fairly quickly here. Kind of coming in now and working on this chain just a little bit. I'm not going to try and draw every segment in the chain, but I'm going to give myself something to add color to here. So I think that really the important thing right now is that we draw this to where it reads as a chain. We don't want it to read as anything but a chain. So I'm kind of coming in, giving it this little segmented look. Obviously, this is going to, when we zoom out, this is details that we're really not going to pick up much on. So let me just zoom out on this, take a look. Really, my main concern at this point is just giving us something to add color to. So I don't want to have too much detail here to where, you know, we can't let the color stand. So just kind of coming up, again, giving it this nice round segmented look here. Come in and hit that line. Let's go ahead and focus on his medallion here for just a moment. Now, I think this is going to be kind of a focal point for this character, so I want to make sure and do this nice and clean. Really pulling out the nice detail here. If you need to redraw a curve, don't feel bad about undoing at this point and redrawing that. We'll just kind of zoom in here. We've got this nice little dollar sign that we've drawn, and we're going to kind of work to flush that out just a little bit. Just really quickly tracing around the contours of this this emblem, just like so. I'm not too satisfied with that curve, so we're going to draw that again. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to come in and actually add a little bit of depth to this, so it looks like it's almost embossed into this emblem, just by giving it a little thicker line on one side. Just sort of like that. When we zoom out, that's going to actually look like it's actually sticking out, and it's embossed on that medallion. So this character is looking pretty good, all except for his sunglasses here. And I want to go ahead and zoom in on those, and notice here they're almost a triangular shape, kind of like that, and that's not right. We need to actually fix that. So let's just come in here and erase away some of these key lines here that are creating that shape, and we'll just redraw those. And let's just kind of make a line right here. Actually, we may have a problem with this line. It may not be curving quite enough around his head. So I may come in and just redraw this line. Not quite that curved. And bring that on and back. All right. Now, at this point, I'd probably come in here and clean this up just a little bit, zooming in and picking up little areas like this. Now, we talked about not having lines crossing over lines where they shouldn't, and that's going to just again speak volumes about the craft in creating your characters. So, looking for little areas like that, zooming in and finding those, and finding little areas where maybe our lines got a little bit shaky, coming in, clean those up a little bit. Just like so. And, I think at this point, this character is just about ready for color. So in this lesson, we have finished refining the line work for our third character. In the next lesson, we're going to move on to our fourth shape and begin fleshing out a character based on that shape.